Welcome to the 119th edition of Make Pro Wrestling Majestic Again. I am Tigerhite.
And I am Peanut Gallery.
And as of today, we're going to be all caught up with our pay-per-views. But first, let's talk about my soapbox. Let's talk about Raw. There was a hit or miss, depending on the company that you were in overall. It was a 1.704 million next to a 1.677 and a 0.52 demo instead of a 0.51. Expect these numbers to have a significant drop over the next couple of months because the NFL started up, I think, last Thursday or something like that.
Yeah. So this Monday's numbers might be a little bit lower.
Or the numbers, at least for the foreseeable future,
right.
Up until the Super Bowl. But Raw was actually pretty good, obviously. Gunther and Chad Gable had a great match for the Intercontinental Champion. The thing is that they had Chad Gable's family there to watch the match itself, but if he was going to lose, why not wait for that till you are, because Chad Gable's the guy. He has to be the guy to beat Gunther at this point. Why would you not have waited for that or have some sort of shenanigans or something else? It could have been booked a lot better personally because Chad Gable did lose clean. Now, how are you going to bounce back from losing clean to Gunther like that? It should have had some sort of shenanigan to really hit home. Now, they could follow up saying, you made my kids cry, now I'm really, really motivated to do it. They could do that, but I think the structure, because that would have been on the premise that the kids would or would not have cried, and that's a factor that you don't necessarily have control over. So, unless the kid was slapped in the face by Gunther, but they would probably be then. Miz TV segment, people said that this was the most entertaining thing on the show. I have no idea what the hell you people are talking about. The Miz attacked an invisible John Cena. How is that entertaining? There's potential with it. If the Miz is coming unhinged, where maybe his suit's looking a little, not as nice, clean cut, and he's doing a conspiracy thing like R-Truth did, maybe I could see that, ironically. But he just looked normal and did that. I'm like, that's a crazy thing from a guy who doesn't look crazy. It didn't make sense. Raquel Rodriguez and Chelsea Green was a squash and a waste of time. Seth Rollins and Shinsuke are going to continue their feud. I do like the Drew McIntyre, Matt Riddle, and New Day thing. Drew McIntyre accidentally injured Xavier Woods with the throwing of the chair. Kofi Kingston screwed McIntyre and Riddle from the Viking Raiders match in a no disqualification, which was actually a good match overall. There is just a couple of things here that I'm really liking, and some things I think can use some wake. Let's talk about NXT, because there was the controversy regarding how safe Braun Breaker is as it relates to this. He's fine, people. We all need to calm down. It looked really bad, and obviously there was blood, but Von Wagner does not have a concussion. It was a scrape. Von Wagner's head was on the first step, and Braun Breaker hit the top of the steps. So anything after that would have been a glancing blow. A lot of the impact was already taken. I haven't heard anything, but the only thing that I've heard as of right now is that Von Wagner is A, alive, and B, no concussion. But the no disqualification match was good. I really did like this match, and the ending really worked for me personally. I think Von Wagner being a babyface is crazy on how over he is. They did what got him over, which he put Braun Breaker through the table. They went through the wall, and then obviously Breaker ending the match in this fashion was the perfect way to do this as well. Dea Hale being a heel is, I'm starting to get used to it, but it's almost like she almost doesn't want to be a heel. But why would she take orders from JC Jane? JC Jane has not won anything. Might as well it be Tiffany Stratton, like a champion, somebody that you could look up to, instead of this resident bad girl who has lost. I don't get it. Dea Hale was doing fine. She was going for titles. Now she's playing around with Gigi Dolan. Come on. Dabba-Kato and Tyler Bate was whatever. Ilya Dragunov and Oro Mensah was pretty good. And obviously the NXT Women's Championship match was the opener. And Becky Lynch is coming to NXT in a couple of days to face Tiffany Stratton for the belt. They're probably going to do shenanigans, but I'm still not a big fan of it. I mean, obviously they want the ratings bumped because they were at 673,000 next to 614, and it was a 0.18 demo instead of a 0.16. They were up, but not as up as maybe they could have been overall. Oh, and I do like the Global Heritage Invitational. They have been pretty damn good matches, but I wish they would have had it more of the style of the Heritage Cup to maybe emphasize that's what this cup is about. That probably would have worked better. Let's talk about this absolute waste of a Dynamite. Good Lord. They increased. Dynamite's ratings was 887 next to 871 with a 0.31 demo instead of a 0.3. This was right after All Out. And just like they did with All In, where they only gained 1,000 people, this is bad, people. I don't think you realize this. They always get a bump in ratings after pay-per-views. WWE gets it. Impact Wrestling gets it. Any company that has it got it because that's a conclusion of stories. So they usually start new stories here. But they didn't here. The main event of this show, the international champion, was the curtain jerker match. So we had that match. We had a TBS championship match. Both were bad. Both were a waste of time. Aussie Open finally wins, but the Sex Gods are splitting up, basically, so I don't care. Darby Allin and Nick Wayne were the main event. I have no idea what people are getting at with Nick Wayne. I mean, he's not that good. Like, he's really not.
Right. And then Darby Allin, he's just a human.
He's a
human test dummy.
He is committed to being in a wheelchair by the age of 30. Like, he is committed to it. And Tony Khan's just going to let him go with it. That's why you guys are losing ratings, because no novice fan wants to see a 26-year-old dumbass do this shit.
Right.
We don't. God. MJF promo was fine. Him and Samoa Joe had a good back and forth. I'll give it that. And I think they're really starting to do that for Grand Slam, which I'm 100% for. Really, anything else was just a whatever sandwich. Roger Strong is being pushed, and I am all for that too, but the neck brace thing is a annoying thing. It's a pain in my neck. So, let's talk about Impact. I couldn't get ratings for this week's Impact, but I got them for last week. They had 99K with a 0.01. Not too bad for Impact. They kind of hover around 90 to 100K. They kind of hop up and down, but given the announcement that they're going to be doing a huge production upgrade, might bring in some more viewers because the NWA got a significant bump when they got the new studio set up.
Yeah.
So I'm quite happy with all of that. The contract signing between Trinity and Alicia Edwards. I'm starting to get Alicia a little bit. I mean, she's still not the best promo, but I'm starting to get the character.
Eddie Edwards is really helping out in that department.
He definitely is. Absolutely. Him putting Trinity through the table, that was a bit of a risky move from Impact to do a man-on-woman violence like that. I mean, you couldn't have had a safer worker to do that, and Trinity knows how to do it. But that's what they got in trouble for originally, was putting Dixie Carter through a table. And then they did it again here, so maybe it'll work.
Yeah, who knows?
Yuya, the tag team of Joe Hendry and Yuya Oramura, sucks. It is a waste. They are there doing, I am not kidding you, synchronized dancing during their entrance. It is not, it's awkward, but it's not like so awkward it's cool. It's just bad.
Okay then.
Just do the music videos. That's Joe Hendry. Do the music videos and maybe incorporate like a Japanese flair with it. I think that would be really cool. Or maybe have some poppy whatever. I think that would be really cool. But other than that, it's just so lame. Bully Ray and Steve Macklin took on Josh Alexander and PCO. Obviously, this was the setup for two different matches for Victory Road. It was a fine match. A lot of these were just kind of there. They were fine. There wasn't really other than that. Deon Purrazzo and Danny Luna had a fine opener, but once again, even though the Knockouts is pretty much the best women's division on mainstream television, I mean, let's just be honest, it's kind of hit or miss recently, and I'll kind of get used to it, but I feel like they would benefit better with a women's secondary champion and get rid of the knockouts tag. That's just me.
But
I think more of a workhorse singles women's champion gives more of an opportunity for creative ideas than these women's tags, because you're just kind of throwing people together and it's just like, some hit, some miss. Get it.
Right.
But yeah, that was kind of Impact. It was there. SmackDown. Okay. So SmackDown's last week's rating, I think this was a Bray Wyatt. No, the Bray Wyatt was week before. Or was it last week?
I don't remember.
So they got 2.443 million in a 0.65 demo. That sounds like the Bray Wyatt episode.
Yeah, probably.
The Bray Wyatt Terry Funk episode, excuse me. And then they went to this. Because there are a lot of these wrestlers that are in India, they had, I am not kidding you, 4 in-ring segments. 4 matches. That was it. 100% that was it. There was nothing here that was necessarily bad, but it was uninspired. The one thing that I'm going to have an absolute fit about is why did Jimmy Uso lose clean in the middle of the ring? This new heel that they're trying to experiment as a single star lost again.
Who knows?
Jey Uso won matches. He looked like a credible contender for the undisputed champion. And now Jimmy here losing, and not only losing, but wanting to go back to the bloodline. For what ass reason would he have any sort of rapport with Roman Reigns after he was the one who initiated the Usos leaving the bloodline?
Who knows?
How does that make sense to anybody with a cognitive brain?
I'm sure there's some long-term storytelling.
The him going back to the bloodline is one thing. If they want to do that, great, but have Jimmy win. He needs credibility as a singles. And how do you build credibility in professional wrestling? You win matches. You establish that you are better than the opponents that they put in front of you. And no matter who it is, you beat them. Roman Reigns is an unstoppable monster. Why? He wins. He's lost 1 match in years. And yet, he's losing. It's like, God, he looks like a dork. He looks like a dweeb. Jesus Christ. But, I mean, the match was good, though, at the very least. Judgment Day took on Brawling Brutes. I like the match, but I still don't like champions as non-title matches. LA Knight and Austin Theory was good, and then the women's tag was there. There was some mistiming, but I'm not going to fault it directly because they are pushing Shotzi. They are giving her wins. I like the short-haired Shotzi, but stop with the spiky things. It looks weird. You look like a hedgehog instead of like a badass. Anyway, let's go into Collision. Last week's
fun stuff.
So before we get into my diatribe here, the Collision did feel somewhat different. I think Bryan Danielson is the one leading the charge as it relates to creative here, because CM Punk had a little more pull as it relates to Collision. But Bryan Danielson is on borrowed time. He did say that before his first daughter's birthday, I think that her name was Birdie, her 7th birthday, he was going to retire. She is 6. She was born in May. So we have now till May before Bryan Danielson retires.
Right.
Does he have to do anything? No. But what I think they want to do is put him in the marquee, because Bryan Danielson is still a marquee wrestler. He's going to be at Wrestle Dream with Zack Sabre Jr. That's a good suggestion. I want him to have at least one Wrestle Kingdom match. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. If they manage to do this, it's a shot in the freaking dark, but it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. I want one more Bryan Danielson WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
It would be the biggest shot in the dark.
Yep.
But we've seen it before.
Yeah, we have.
So it can happen. So, I mean, I think it would benefit everybody. And where Bryan Danielson really got his biggest moment in his entire career.
Yep.
I think one more marquee WrestleMania match for Bryan Danielson.
Right. It doesn't have to be a title match. Just make it a match.
I don't want it to be a title match. I want it to be just him versus somebody.
Right.
Who? Maybe Gunther.
Right.
That'd be awesome. But I think that would be a great thing for him. I think because Slammiversary is in August, he wouldn't be able to do Slammiversary.
No, but he could do Bound for Glory.
He can do Bound for Glory, and they do have a working relationship together, so that's not...
No, they don't.
Oh, really?
No, Impact and AEW haven't worked together in years.
I mean, Bryan Danielson can really go anywhere or do anything, so it wouldn't be, him versus Josh Alexander would not be a bad idea.
Right.
Like, at all. So, but that was kind of my diatribe there. He did make that announcement during this show, and I think people are going to get more curious about Collision, but this is where we are last week. 345,000 people in a .11 demo. That is Rampage numbers. This is not Dynamite 2.0. Dynamite is Dynamite. And even then, it's struggling. Samoa Joe is basically killing everybody on the show, and I think he is the best thing on the show. Mm-hmm. He had a good match with Penta El Cerro Miedo, and it is a Grand Slam Eliminator tournament. He will be facing Roderick Strong next week on Dynamite in the finals. Mm-hmm. Once again, Roderick Strong beating, who was it? It was Darby Allin. He beat Darby Allin. Mm-hmm. So once again, Roderick Strong being pushed 100% for that. And that's great. I mean, there was not really too much else to say. Jon Moxley and Chris Statlander defended the champions again. This is the third title defense of Jon Moxley. Well, the second, not counting the actual win at All Out. And then Chris Statlander's second. These titles are worthless now because of these open challenges. Do not do this. Why do companies think if these title matches happen, it's going to be more valuable? It's not. The less you defend these champions, the more valuable they become. God. Other than that, there wasn't really a whole lot else to say about Collision, but that's really my soapbox for a lot of different things. A little bit longer than I thought. But, Peanut Gallery, what are we talking about?
Yeah, a little bit longer.
What are we talking about next?
I'm going to talk about what AEW should do with Jack Perry.
All right.